We're going to see how to create a functional test from an existing scenario and to run it. So first of all, we have to take an existing scenario, and I'm gonna take this one. We'll just go rapidly through the steps. This is a mobile app that is a skateboard shop. So we select a skateboard, we put it into the basket, we go to the payment and to the register form. We fill in with the last name, first name, email, etc. And we go to the payment, and at the end we go to the purchase order. So as you can see, there are a lot of values that may came from datasets, and some others that came out of the scenario and can be used in a dataset. To do that, we just, for instance, take the first name, and here we got the value used in the scenario. To be able to use this value and transform it into a variable that came out from a dataset, we just use the following syntax: dollar opening brace in underscore the name of the variable. We're gonna spell it first name, comma the default value, and closing brace, and that's it. We're going to do that for every values that has to be filled out from a dataset, and the value that has to came out of the scenario and be used in a dataset is just a store text. We're going to read the value from this path and store it into this variable, and we just have to prefix the variable name without underscore so it can be used in the dataset. And that's all. And now that all the values can be replaced with a specific syntax, we can use the scenario in a functional test. So here we are on the functional test settings. So we have here the scenario we used to create the functional test from. We can add a new scenario or create a new one. Here we can select the devices on which the functional test will be run. Here we're going to take an Android Nexus 5X. We can activate the screenshot comparison between each run, which means that at every specific run we'll just compare graphically the screenshots and see if there are differences. You can launch the functional test with our public API, or you can activate an internal timer to be able to launch it every hour or every day. And we'll get an option to stop if the test is in error or not. And we can activate the datasets for this functional test. That's what we're going to do. And as you can see, we use the syntax in the scenario, and what happens is that the scenario has been parsed and every single variable is here specifically presented as a line, and the datasets are the columns. So for instance, if you want to type in the dataset number 1 the first name, you can here just put the first name, and the variable in the scenario will be replaced with this John. Here we've filled 3 different datasets, one for John, one for Steve, and one for Jack. We just type in the first name, the last name. We use an internal function to generate the email, that is a random email with prefix and a domain name, so it will randomly generate an email to be able to have a unique email for each run. Here we got the password, the birth date, the address, and we got a verification to be able to see if on the UI price of the shipping is free for everyone. What we have done here with the out variable is to compare the price read from the UI of the basket compared to the price to pay, and if they are equal, then we accept the conditions, otherwise we don't. And this is that way that we are going to use the out variable in a dataset to produce an in variable that can be used in the scenario to test an action. So now everything is clear. We're going to see the results. We go to the dashboard, and here we got the several tests and the runs. We got the runs -2, run -1, and the last run. And we got in the column the devices. Here we got the Android Nexus 5X that is used with the scenario. Here we got a Chrome 87 and a Firefox 83. We had this scenario with variables, and as you can see, it's okay for the last run, and I can just click on it, and here I can see the three datasets, the one from John, the one for Steve, and the one for Jake. Everything is okay. I can see the details. I just click on it. Here are the steps. Everything is okay. Here are the screenshots, and we can also see typically the first name, last name, and the email. Here, as you can see, the randomly generated email is here available on the interface. You can share the results with anyone. Just copy the link and send it to someone else, and you can export the script to be able to play it as standalone. To be able to see what is going to happen if there are some errors, we just take the same functional test, but this time in the datasets we just change some things. For Steve and for Jack, we expected to have a shipping that's now free. This 10 euro for Steve, 20 euro for Jack. And when we see the results of the test, what we're going to see is that there are errors for the two specific datasets, the one for Steve and the one for Jack. Well, we can see here we got the error message. On the UI you got free, but we are expecting to have 10 euros, and for Jack we also have free, but we're expecting to have 20 euros. You can have a look at the screenshots that have been taken during the run to see graphic details. You can see all the details and the step that is in error clearly here with the free does match with shipping 10 euros. When you've finished analyzing the results of a functional test, you can validate this functional, this error or this OK with a comment that can be used later on into a report. You have access to a dashboard with a lot of KPIs and informations for runs and run units. You also have access to history to see everything that happens in the past. And you can access reports that can be exported into PDF format, for instance. And that's what's concluded the rapid presentation of the functional test in Cloud Native Care.